Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News starts now.
A group of boaters rescued on the Kern River by officials. What led to the dramatic events on the water? And an officer-involved shooting over the weekend leaves one person dead, the latest into the ongoing investigation. Plus, a new California law that'll change what accommodations are required for working mothers. Good morning and thanks for staying with us for 23 ABC News at 6:30. I'm Alyssa Flores. We're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist Elena Rusk. We are seeing some action on the grapevine. Not too concerning at this point, right?
Thankfully, yes. At 3 a.m., CHP was saying heavy snow on the grapevine. At 4 a.m., they started escorting traffic, and I could feel people in the mountains tensing,
cringing,
going, not
right?
Again.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it hasn't been as bad as that December 25th into 26th storm. Oh, that was a wild one. Here's a live picture from our photojournalist, Noe. He is up there along the grapevine. You see that traffic is moving. CHP has been watching the situation closely, and thankfully the bulk of the storm has already occurred this morning. So now it's some light snow instead of heavy snow, but it's still snow there on the grapevine. And we're getting a slushy mix along much of the 58 as well. Many people up there in the mountains reporting that their roadways are slick this morning, especially those side mountain roads where we had some snow melt yesterday and then it refroze as black ice overnight. This latest storm that's bringing the new snow today, well, that's sliding down the coastline. So as it continues to dive down into Mexico, it leaves us with just some lingering rain and snow showers, mainly in those south mountains later today. So we've already seen the brunt of it. See how it's breaking apart over Fraser Park. Still some snow falling and sticking in Tehachapi. I was just hearing from Joan Tyre on Facebook. She called it microscopic flakes since about 10:30 last night. But in her part of Sand Canyon, at least, it's not sticking. Some people up in Bear Valley Springs say they've had some heavy snow this morning. That winter weather advisory, you see, it doesn't quite stretch to Tehachapi because they're going to be a little bit warmer than Fraser Park today. And those clouds look to get stuck in the South Mountains. That's why they still have a little bit more snow to deal with this morning. But it looks like they can keep that grapevine open as long as people aren't getting too squirrely and sliding all over the place, right? Later today, a pretty seasonal day, but that means it's cold in Fraser Park at 39, Tehachapi at 42, Isabella 51, here in Bakersfield 57. Fairly dry, fantastic air quality. More on this forecast coming up, but I wanted to show you our road conditions. The areas of green there, mainly in the foothills and down into Mojave. Those are some wet roadways after some rain overnight. The areas of white, that is some snow and ice this morning.
Our top story this morning, Kern County officials rescuing a group of people from the Kern River. The Kern County Fire Department said rescue crews were dispatched on Sunday afternoon to the river near the River Nook campground by Kernville when they received reports that 4 people were stuck on a boat in the water. A KCFD official said the group drifted to a more aggressive part of the river and there were reports of water going into the boat, prompting a rescue helicopter to then be dispatched. When crews arrived, one person managed to get on land and 3 others were rescued by crews. The investigation continues into a deadly officer-involved shooting over the weekend after a Kern County Sheriff's deputy opened fire on a suspect in northeast Bakersfield. KCSO received a domestic disturbance call at Water Street near River Boulevard just before 6 p.m. on Saturday. The call was disconnected and deputies responded to the home. According to officials, a man answered the door and did not comply with their commands. KCSO says the suspect then armed himself with an object, and that's when deputies opened fire, killing the man. KCSO says a deputy suffered lacerations to his head but is expected to survive. According to KCSO, all deputies involved will be put on administrative leave. The investigation is ongoing. Meantime, a new police use of force law will go into effect in the state of California in 2020. Back in August, Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill, which will modify the conditions under which a police officer can legally use deadly force from times when it's reasonable to when it's necessary. The bill faced major opposition from law enforcement. Some say the measure undermines the fact that officers must often make split-second decisions in life and death situations. The new law goes into effect January 1st. Another law set to take effect on Wednesday is Senate Bill 142, which will now require employers to implement lactation accommodations for mothers by the new year. 23 ABC's Amani Stevens breaks down that law.
Candace Neal is a new mother who began working at a law firm shortly after she found out she was expecting. But her new job will also be expecting some new changes come January 1st.
Being so new at the organization, just, how that might be perceived in less than a year's time of me being at that job.
Existing laws in the state provide employees who express milk the break time to do so, but this change requires employers to provide a lactation room or a location that follows these requirements, such as providing a place for the employee to sit, a surface to place a breast pump and personal items, and access to a sink and running water.
There's so much about lactation that requires constant, throughout the day, throughout the night, tasks. And one of those tasks is expressing milk.
And this is a task that Starika says can impact the mother and baby.
If someone is not expressing milk regularly, it impacts their ability to produce milk long term.
Yeah, baby.
And with this change, the bill prohibits employers from firing, discriminating, or retaliating against the employee. While the law is changing, Neil says she is thankful she can spend the first 6 months with her baby.
Your body's still going through changes. You're still learning your baby. It's a really great thing that the laws are changing.
In Bakersfield, I'm Imani Stevens, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Moving on, if you're looking for a place to ring in the new year, don't worry, we have you covered. Here are a few events happening around Kern County. The Bakersfield Marriott at the Convention Center will ring in the new year with a dance party in their grand ballroom. The Padre Hotel will be celebrating with dinner in the Belvedere room, and then you can dance through the decades on 2 stories of the hotel. And also in downtown, the Tower Craft Bar and Grill is hosting a New Year's Eve masquerade ball. You can head to our website for an entire list of New Year's events. That's at turnto23.com. Calling all daredevils, it's a plunge not meant for the faint of heart. You're invited to make a splash in the new year and join the Polar Bear Club. It's all going down January 1st at the McMurtry Aquatic Center on Q Street in downtown Bakersfield. If you don't know about the Polar Bear Club, it's where people celebrate the new year by jumping into a pool with icy water. During the plunge, people can choose to go down the water slide or jump in the pool and then swim 25 yards. Afterwards, you can warm up by enjoying some hot chocolate. It might take a little more than that. Everyone is welcome to go watch, and if you'd like to jump in, it's for ages 7 and up. Tickets are just $5 and it begins at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. And we do have a programming note for you on New Year's Day. 23 ABC will be on the air from 4:30 until 6 a.m. New Year's morning. Then at 6 o'clock, we're going to be airing Good Morning America until 8 a.m. That's when we have coverage of the 131st Annual Tournament of Roses Parade. And then after the parade, we've got the Citrus Bowl starting at 10 a.m. where the Michigan Wolverines will take on the Alabama Crimson Tide, meaning there will be no 23 ABC News at 11. Again, that's all New Year's Day. Champagne sales are fizzling in France. Experts say sales fell by 6.5 million bottles last year, continuing a slide that's been going on for a decade. Champagne producers are also worried about the threat of new U.S. tariffs and the impending departure by Great Britain from the EU.